I have a friend named Jackson. Some of you know him from the official podcast, and Jackson is visiting from Australia for the next 10 days. And like most grizzly, hard-working men, Jackson has a hobby. Some men's hobby includes watching football and titties, drinking beer from a boot up their ass. Jackson's hobby is a little bit more innocent. Jackson enjoys the simple pleasures of building Lego Star Wars sets. So naturally, one of the first places I wanted to take him was the place where dreams come true, Legoland. I'd only ever been to the park one time, and I didn't really enjoy it when I was a toddler. I just kind of viewed it as Disney World's disappointing brother who was addicted to meth. But I was going in with an open mind and open ass this time around, really ready to take in just the Lego joy, and give Jackson a day that he will always look back on fondly with a wet spot in his pants. So let me show you the journey through Legoland. We fucking made it, boys! Now the first thing that we all took note of and were all surprised about was that the park was predominantly filled with children. Based on the way Jackson always talks about Lego Star Wars in the building process, I was expecting the park to be filled with MIT graduates and full-blown architects. Does it smell like real Lego?
It does not smell authentic. It smells like Le Pen.
Oh god, they've had us yet again.
Where did those come from, Jackson?
Yeah, can you trace the origin of the Lego bricks? The child labor factories?
Smells like an 1886 yellow brick designed by George Lego himself.
I'd like to just call attention to Jackson's hat. This is a hat we found in the park. It says best day ever, and it's not kidding. In fact, I think it's underselling it. This is a day none of us will soon forget. It was quite the adventure.
But then we have to carry it around everywhere.
We could drive it around.
We can drive it. It's child-sized.
Yeah.
You'll fit it.
You build your own motor.
It's like a landfill of Legos. There's so much disease in there that you're touching.
Just run your hand through it.
All right. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
These are the ultra rares.
Ooh.
ASMR Legos.
The forgotten pieces.
My God. It's a bucket of trash.
After rummaging through various Lego stores and after Jackson's shock and awe and jubilation wore down a bit and simmered, we realized that we had come in time for one of the world's best and most famous water shows, the Brickbeard's Assault. I can't quite remember the exact name, but it's basically, in essence, a tyrannical, menacing pirate named Brickbeard has just raped and pillaged the good towns across Brickwater, and now it's up to us, the audience, to go in there and stop him and put an end to this evil reign of his. And it was quite the show. I'll show you some of that. And it's honestly a shame that Brickbeard isn't a more well-known name. I know everyone's heard of Shamu from SeaWorld, but I can't even believe that people aren't talking about Brickbeard constantly or begging for a Brickbeard feature-length film. You know, you have the Lego movie, Lego Batman, but where's Brickbeard?
Far, far away.
That's Brickbeard, Jackson.
No, that's his dad. Brickbeard Senior.
Was a charming little.
Good lord, Brickbeard's going for it. They need volunteers, Jackson. You can fight Brickbeard.
Let me fight Brickbeard.
You can liberate Brickwater.
You get a kiss from Captain Miranda.
So just in case there's a few people out here who haven't seen this show for some reason, I'll go ahead and give you a bit of the narrative. So Brickwater has been subject to the unbelievably hostile reign of Brickbeard. And the things he's done to them is just reprehensible. We damn near lost an audience member to Brickbeard with a public beheading. And what you're seeing here is the Imperial Lego attack force, the Imperial soldiers that are willing to stand up to Brickbeard. These are our heroes, and these are the people that we get behind, along with the leadership from the one, the only, Captain Miranda, and her sidekick, Salty.
I
think I know it now. Kick, kick, and
It's the Brickbeard Shuffle. Jesus Christ! It's Brickbeard! Oh, come on, Miss Miranda, you can do it! Free the bait from the tyranny of Brickbeard! How did just Yeah, how did Brickbeard even conquer the seas with that kind of attitude? Luckily, we were able to emerge triumphant here in the battle against Brickbeard, and it was entirely due to the incredible leadership of Captain Miranda and the tenacity of the 7 of us who went. I think if we weren't in the audience there, this could have turned out very differently and far worse for the harbor and the people of Brickwater. So luckily we attended the 12:15 show and pretty much saved the day. After we defeated the Scourge of the Sea, we walked around the park a little bit, some more photos of course, because this is a very special day for Jackson. We toured some of the miniature areas filled with Legos, to which Jackson couldn't believe the craftsmanship of the master builders on the premises. And it was just truly an eye-opening experience. The things you can do with Legos are far beyond what I thought capable. I didn't even think science could extend this far, let alone Legos.
I know that craftsmanship anyway.
Hit the button.
Who built that one, Jackson?
Jay the Brickman, I believe.
It's attacked! Jay the Brickman's done it again!
We also got to see some of LEGO's most famous characters. There's this guy sitting on a bench here looking like the album cover to a lo-fi hip-hop groove. Or perhaps Lil Pump if he was translated into the Simpsons universe. We even got to see Rey from Star Wars. I tell ya, I've never seen Jackson so excited and nervous at the same time. Now I bet you're wondering, Charlie, Dag Nabbit, why haven't you gone on any rides? Why haven't you shown us any of the thrills at Legoland? Well, fuck you. We can't go on those rides because we're too old. The rides were exclusive to 13 years and younger. You aren't allowed on most of the rides as an adult, which does make a lot of sense when you see the scale of some of the rides. For example, they had a Ford driving course, which I thought would be appropriate for Jackson since he doesn't drive and doesn't have a license. I thought maybe we could get in there with the training wheels on it, the Ford driving course for 4-year-olds, and maybe get him behind the wheel and get comfortable enough to start taking it to the next level. But you can't. It's for children. There was only 2 rides that we were allowed to do, but the wait was around 80 minutes, so it probably wasn't worth it to do that. But I'm not bothered by it because I think the real fun and the real thrill is the memories you build with those around you when you attend the Legoland. And that being said, we definitely saw some things on this journey we didn't expect to see. What do you got there, Jackson?
I believe this isn't legitimate Lego, but I might need to go in for a taste test first.
Naturally. Like any good specialist. And it wasn't just Jackson having all the fun. Even Andrew got to meet one of his heroes at Legoland.
Alright, Charlie. How's your Legoland experience?
Beyond words. I'm still rattled from Brickbeard. You're doing so good, Jackson.
I've been practicing.
Oh, look at these fine master builder hands.
That's the best Jay I've ever seen.
Look at that technique.
Do you want color cooperation? Oh no, everyone, it's too rectangular. I need another 6-piece, anyone? I need the perfect length.
All in all, I'd say the adventures we shared at Legoland will last a lifetime, and I think it's very clear now why Legoland has earned its title as the happiest place on Earth. That's it. So yeah. From about the ages of 2 to 10, I lived in Orlando, and I was a really outdoorsy kind of kid, which I know is probably surprising for most of you here, considering I'm like a fucking basement goblin now who rarely goes outside for more than the gym and the movie theater. But growing up, I used to always like to be outside in Orlando, and I used to love theme parks like Universal and Disney. But among these titans was a little guy named Funspot, who I felt never really got the credit it deserved. Funspot is an amusement park that's 1/8 the size of the big boys. All the fun and joy of an amusement park, but in the fucking surface area of a takeout box. Funspot is basically the Bing of theme parks. Yeah, it exists, but no one really thinks about it. Funspot is absolutely great though, and it's some of the most patriotic shit I've ever seen. Jackson's still visiting from Australia, so I thought definitely gonna take him to Funspot. This shit is as American as it gets. The only thing more American than Funspot is a fucking Bass Pro Shop. So we come to Funspot and it's like you're entering heaven's pearly gates. Just look at this beautiful entrance, letting you know you're in for a rip-roaring great time. What do you think of Funspot, Jackson?
It's beautiful. Can't really get in there.
Real life guitar skills.
This is putting a little cream in your jeans, I bet. Hadn't seen Guitar Hero since I was in fucking high school, but was still able to crank out some incredible combos on expert mode. I can't let the audio of the song play much longer because I don't want to get a copyright strike here, But I'd like to point out that this Guitar Hero controller is extremely fucked up. It's like Thor's hammer. It's extremely heavy. I don't know what it's made out of, adamantium or some shit, but it's super heavy. The buttons are extremely sticky. I felt like I was playing the game in slow motion there. The buttons were covered in fucking maple syrup. And also when you're strumming, the strumming feels like you're trying to start a fire between two bricks. It is extremely hard, but I was still able to do decently on Expert. Andrew damn near full comboed the bitch, but he plays guitar in real life, so obviously that's going to translate here. Also, a lot of the audio that I filmed is unusable yet again because walking around Fun Spot sounds like you're walking through a park in Roller Coaster Tycoon, just constant screaming and hollering, which is great because that's what Fun Spot's all about, the thrills and the joy.
What happened at the jam? I was shredding too hard. Good job, Tiana. Good job, Tiana. Get the screen. It's the guitar's made out of like the screen. Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely. 93% to 68. God, it's like literally playing a block of cement.
Yeah, the strummer is way more stiff, probably so people can't break it. It's not fun.
Jesus.
It is not fun.
I just slapped that shit really hard like I was trying to teach it a lesson.
Have you enjoyed your...
I love it. America Fun Spot in America is the best fun spot in America.
That's not even sponsored. I like that. What a guy. After Jackson picked out his favorite United States of America hat, we decided to walk around for a bit and decided not to go on any of the go-karting tracks or roller coasters and instead settled on the most important attraction at Fun Spot, perhaps the most important attraction across all of theme parks, the American Funhouse. The America experience condensed into a short 3-minute walk-through wacky adventure.
There's no doping.
This is the integration line, Jackson.
Baptism by freedom.
Jesus. Bro, what the fuck? I'm so glad I'm not claustrophobic. Holy fuck. Oh my lord. Oh my god.
Watch out, Jackson. There's a fighter jet behind you.
Oh, fuck.
What is this? Oh. God, this is nuts. It's the quicksand of Colombia.
Oh, careful, Jackson.
It's like a wipeout course.
It's the Tetris wall of America.
Watch out for the Apache. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's crowd control. Oh, the tear gas.
It's the upstairs saloon, Jackson.
Smell my American law. Oh, it's Freedom Parks.
Give his ass.
I see it in all its glory. It's a trap door.
You're gonna die, Jackson.
It's like Dark Souls. You just have to take a leap of faith, like those who first colonized it.
Like the Pilgrims. Jackson, look out, it's free healthcare way.
Be careful, Jackson.
Jackson, do you have insurance?
What is this? God. Danny's been caught in the trap. In the washing. It's like a scene out of Austin Powers.
How is this more nauseating than all the rides?
This is the price of freedom. Our forefathers did it, and now Jackson is too. I avoided the trap downstairs, but I'll take the more adventurous route this time. Yes, this has killed many a man.
Careful, Jackson.
He's done the impossible.
Where's my citizenship freedom, Jackson?
It's the slide of broken backs. That's what that is.
Alright, we'll go one at a time. Don't kill me.
I'm not doing that. I'm taking the stairs. Well, someone's got to do this. You do it.
Alright, let's do it.
Oh, there it is.
Tell us if freedom rings.
Yeah, baby.
She's gonna plow into a child at the bottom.
Just her body, but without the head. Yeah. X, I'm taking the stairs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fuck that. The Great Hurricanes. You've emerged an American. You entered a boy and you came out a man.
I'm
a
citizen.
A free man.
Citizenship program.
What a hero.
It's like the Fun Spot slogan says, if you're not having fun, go fuck yourself. Obviously, being born and raised in this country, I've been through this American wacky wild funhouse plenty of times, but this one was special. This one felt like the Oregon Trail. There was something very unique about this American box of fun, and I have to say, it's just like Fun Spot says, you'll have fun, or fuck you.
That's the way, boys. Onwards! Hi-ho, stallion! Buckling up. It doesn't fit. Get ready for some intense G-forces. It's like Red Dead Redemption 2 in here. Have you ever ridden a carousel? I think so, a few times here and there. An American one? Nothing like this though. Nothing as free and liberating as this. Ah, of course. Oh, this is adorable. I want off.
Oh, yeah.
Gianna, be careful. Yeah, be careful. You're not safe.
Gianna, how could you?
You're not safe with that
It's
speed.
not proper ride procedure.
I swear to God, there is nothing more American than riding a dirty, filthy carousel with some 4-year-old shit streaks run across the back of the horse. That is what I needed to show Jackson, and I was happy Fun Spot was able to accommodate with perhaps one of the most patriotic carousels, merry-go-rounds, I have ever seen in all of my days.
Jackson, do you want a photo with Freedom Flyer? Everyone's favorite Avenger? Freedom Flyer.
First taste of American freedom.
Pose like a... Yeah, give us a Freedom Flyer pose.
Yeah, there you go.
There it is.
I know. I couldn't believe it either. The Freedom Flyer, everyone's favorite superhero. They also had a Statue of Liberty as well, like a small-scale Statue of Liberty monument, but I didn't see it until we were leaving, so we didn't get a chance to get a picture with it or anything like that. But that's kind of like the whole thing with Fun Park. It's basically like a Japanese tiny meal kit. You know, those like small meals that you can make from Japan that are like the size of something that only a mosquito could eat. Basically the size of Mr. Krabs' World's Smallest Violin. It's like that, but for theme parks at Fun Spot. And it's great. We didn't go on the Freedom Flyer ride, unfortunately, but I imagine if we did, we would have come off the roller coaster with fucking war paint on our face, grown 3 inches, and had a crew cut by the end of it. That shit was just super fucking American. And it was just a really all-around great experience. I think Jackson really got a full ass pounding of American culture with an arcade. There's some go-karts, roller coasters, of course the fun house, the walk through, the tour of America. It was incredible. Just absolutely incredible top to bottom. And it's a shame that Fun Spot isn't talked about up there with Disney World, Universal, and Chuck E. Cheese. Because it's nuts. It's fucking great. That's it. So yeah.
He invited his teenage son, Breck, to come along with him. After a tour of Disneyland, Breck expressed the sentiment that the park lacked a cool factor. This worried
I don't know if
Eisner,
everyone
and
on
he
this
began
ride called, but we'll
conducting
see.
exit surveys. This gave Eisner the idea to incorporate another sci-fi movie into the parks, Ridley Scott's Alien. Because I know when I think of Disney, I think of this.
That's pretty cool. I love the thought process.
The Alien ride was to be like Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin.
Oh
But
yeah,
instead
that's
of
the only
shooting
good ride
laser
there.
beams at Zurg, you're in pitch black darkness shooting shotguns at murderous aliens. The head Imagineers were appalled by the idea, and they convinced Eisner that this would be a horrific addition to Tomorrowland. However, a small group of young
Jesus,
Imagineers
NIT.
weren't ready to
That's
let
horrible.
the idea go, and they found a
Sorry to hear
solid
he's doing
excuse
that.
to pitch it again. An attraction called Mission to Mars was in dire need of retooling. This original attraction would be called Extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. In 1994, test audiences experienced the show for the first time, and they were horrified. Many
Cowards,
complained that it was too
pussies.
scary, but Eisner didn't agree.
Holy shit!
Alright, everybody, here comes Mr. Alien.
God, this guy fucking sucks. Oh God! Real glass? Actually just blows real glass into the crowd, that'd be nuts.
Not good.
So the attraction was broken into 3 parts. Guests enter the Tomorrowland Interplanetary.
I'm
Convention
confused, so you
Center,
just sit
greeted
there and,
by a
like,
video
watch
showcasing some
the
upcoming
alien escape?
showcases at the center. He shows the audience an example of XS Tech's teleportation technology,
Oh.
the focus of the main show they are about to see.
No, you may not get out. You're a lucky volunteer.
During the 6 months in between the soft open and the grand opening, some parts of the pre-show were tweaked to be more sinister in an attempt to scare children away before the real horror.
Yeah, take that,
Likely done in
dumbass milk-drinking, diaper-wearing kids.
Yes, very.
Hello, everyone. I recalculated our plan. You see, if we bring one of you
So this is all the
here, well,
pre-show to the
just
alien
get to meet
ride?
one of you. However, if I'm teleported to Earth, I can meet all of you, shake each hand, and personally answer all your questions about the wonders of
Thanks,
Excess.
Mr.
I'll
Golden
be with you
Warrior.
in just a moment. Prepare yourselves for an unforgettable encounter.
During the
Man, they
process,
put a lot of
however,
effort into
mistakenly,
pre-shows. I never
an
noticed.
alien for instance, many audiences didn't realize that the alien had the ability to fly, so dialogue was added to make it more clear.
Skinlock, since when
I can't see a
does Plank
fucking
have
thing.
Wings?
Wink.
Also, Eisner noticed that the audience was screaming over integral plot details, so the ride's pace was changed and this line was added.
People of Earth, quiet! Listen to me, please! Don't scream! If you remain perfectly quiet, it probably won't eat you.
The experience
Eisner
ends
seems
with
so
alien
personally
Pete
offended
appearing
that
in
his
the tube
plot
one
isn't
final
working
time
that
before the
well.
shield's barricaded. So what is there now? Well, in 2004, it was replaced by Stitch's Great Escape, essentially a kid-friendly
2004?
version of Alien Encounter. Instead of the alien licking you and eating people, Stitch burps in your face. Many fans of Alien Encounter
I must have went on
despised
the
this ride, and it never became
Alien
truly
Terror
popular among
Terrestrial at some
in
point.
fact, the interesting reason for its closure is Jeffrey Jones. Yes, now that is important. He stars in the footage throughout the attraction as Clench.
Yeah, someone
In
recommended him a
2002,
while ago,
one year
Yuan.
before Alien Encounter's closure, Jones was arrested for child pornography and luring and photographing an underage boy.
Oh,
This is a huge no-no for Disney. They
I
don't
would think
like to be
so. A
involved with
pretty
sex
big no-no
offenders,
for
and I
society,
don't blame
too,
them.
in fact.
So that is the history of extraterrestrial Alien Encounter. Click on the link below if you're interested in learning where the remains of Alien Encounter are today.
What a crazy
how
conclusion.
I'm going to get them back, and where I
And
will
this
place
scary
it in-
ride was closed because the actor in the pre-show was a pedophile. Just as you would have expected if you'd been paying attention. What a twist. No, oh my god, don't even he's made something on the Back to the Future ride. I'm gonna be watching fucking Defunct Land all night at this point. Back to the Future ride was my favorite ride until it was gone, and then it switched to Men in Black. Back to the Future ride was such a fucking banger. Last Defunct Land, and I swear to god. This ride was so good. Oh, it was so good. And I was just a huge fan of the movies anyway, so this had a special place in my boners.
Back to the Future, the ride.
So good.
This attraction was at Universal
So
Studios
good.
Florida from 1991 to 2007.
You sit in a DeLorean and it
Universal
fucking
Studios
bumps and
Hollywood
moves
from
around, and
1993
Doc
to
Brown's like,
2007,
holy shit,
Universal Studios
we're
Japan
traveling through
from
time.
2001 to 2016. The ride was
then
suggested
you're
by
6
a
years old and you're going, oh my god.
Alfie Davies. The idea of a Back to the Future roller coaster had been
Oh,
thrown around
yeah.
but never developed.
Wow.
Because Universal's creative team realized that the coaster would move too fast to tell the story effectively. Boss Film Studios, headed by Academy Award-winning visual effects artist Richard Edlund, was hired to
Richard, my
He
man.
worked
Thanks for
on the
Back to the
project
Future,
with
big
artist
guy.
Greg McGillivray. They even built a mock ride vehicle to experience the
Oh!
film with the motion effects.
Oh,
Boss
God.
Film
The
supposedly
nostalgia's
spent
coming
a year in
on.
this production process.
Oh,
but they were not
boy.
involved in the creation of the final
Woo.
ride film, and there are two theories as to why. It was also said that Edlund's film had a weird fixation on blimps, and many different styles of blimps were supposed to fly around.
That's a
the
weird
board.
fetish.
At some point, whether it be
I'll make the
in
Back
Edlund's
to the
film or an
Future
early
ride, but only if we can have
version of
blimps.
Doc Brown was to have an
I
evil
like
twin
blimps.
brother that would serve as the antagonist. The 4-minute ride film was shot on 70mm film and was to be projected on an 80-foot diameter Omnimax dome screen. Omnimax is a type of IMAX theater that displays film shot with a wide fisheye lens.
I always
It's
thought that was going to be
typically
the
used in
future of
museums
movies
and
growing
science
up.
centers, but Universal would use this technology to immerse riders in
It
the
clearly
ride.
wasn't. In
Many
fact,
of
it's
the
pretty
creators
dead,
of the film
I think.
appeared in it either as an Riders instead became incredibly thirsty after the ride, which Universal solved by adding water fountains near the exits.
God damn
In
it.
the end, Universal had constructed
Fuck.
the largest ride simulator ever created.
It's so cool!
Universal MCA began promoting
It was such a
Back to
good
the Future
ride.
in 1989. By now, I think we all should know the disaster that was the opening of Universal Studios.
I wouldn't call it a
And MCA
disaster.
wanted to
Bill
avoid this
Cosby
with
was
Back to
there,
the Future.
man, he's
So the
never had
attraction's
anything go
January
wrong.
1991, and this was another star-studded premiere for Universal Studios Florida. But this time it wouldn't be embarrassing, because the ride worked perfectly.
Yeah, and it's
the original
cool.
actors and crew of Back to the Future were thoroughly impressed by the ride, and so were the visitors. Regardless, the Back to the Future attraction that took nearly 5 years from concept to completion and $40 million to make had salvaged Universal Studios Florida.
Movies have
It was so good too.
supernatural to the
Son
limitless
of a
ocean
bitch.
of outer space.
If you're to successfully cross the space.
My god, I'm getting hit with super hard nostalgia. Jesus, Doc. I'm traveling back in time? Ah! I rode this so many times. I'd make my parents just do circles. We'd do the ride once, get right back in line, run it again. Do that 3 or 4 times. I love this ride.
Speeds up to 88 miles per
Oh,
hour
man.
and leaves the Institute. The Omnimax Dome created an incredible...
I hope he plays the
illusion,
entire
and
video.
the DeLorean had
It's so
exceptionally
good.
jerky movements, but this belief would be broken if guests simply turned their heads to the left or right. They would see 3 other cars. There were actually
Yeah, but nobody
24
did
cars,
that. It was like
12
Knight's
individual
Honor.
rides, 2 domes.
Don't
There were
ruin
3
it.
tiers of DeLoreans as the 2 cars fly through time,
Woo.
visiting 2015 Hill Valley, and oh look, it's a styrofoam cup left on the model table. They then crash into the clock tower and visit the
Well, you
Ice
ruined the
Age
ride
and
for me. I
the
hate it
Cretaceous
now.
period, where they encounter a dinosaur and a lava fall. Biff loses control of his DeLorean and begs Doc to help him. The guests are able to successfully
man.
sending both back to the Institute, where Biff is taken by security. Doc thanks the guests
It's
and
so
reminds them that the future is what they make it. So why did it close? Well, theoretically, the lifespan of the ride was always limited, as they did travel to the future of 2015. So if the ride would have survived long after that, it would have seemed outdated. This
We've
wasn't a
never
strong
seen
reason, but it still
2015
fit
though.
within the movies. The actual reason is that Universal wanted to move on to newer franchises, as they did with Jaws and Confrontation and many of their other
I'm glad they
previous
kept the
attractions.
Mummy ride though.
Universal
That ride's
Studios
still so
Florida
good.
decided to shut down. However, the
Ugh.
Japan version of the ride wouldn't close until May 31st, 2016. The
Hey!
Back to the Future rides in the United
Not
States
bad.
would be replaced with... Also, the new ride would be completely animated, while Back to the Future's ride filmed used stop-motion animation and models to pull off its effects. The Simpsons rides would officially open
I don't
in
even
May
think
of
I've ever been on the
2007.
Simpsons
The
ride.
Japan version of the ride would be replaced with another simulator attraction, Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, which can
Ew.
already be found in the... That said, there are people on the internet attempting to recreate the original IMAX reel, and they are also doing some other interesting things that I'm going to talk about in a moment.
What?
So that is the history of Back to the Future.
Wait,
ride.
so we have
I
like
want to
some
take another
serious
minute
Back to the
and
Future
answer a very
fans out
popular
there.
question, which is Defunct a real thing?
They're just
My answer to
rebuilding
this
the
is
entire
currently
ride
no,
from
but
scratch.
I want it to be.
Yeah, but you know what still exists? The Mummy ride. Because The Mummy is the best movie ever made. Also, the Men in Black ride, because that's the most fun ride there is. I don't even know why they even still have like a souvenir shop for the Men in Black ride. Or the Mummy for that matter. I don't think that merch is really flying off the shelves anymore. Most people don't remember either one. Well, I guess Men in Black more though, because one just came out like a year ago with Chris Hemsworth and it was really fucking horrible. Okay. Now I definitely want to do Defunctland, but I saw this earlier. Apparently he made something on Disney Quest. This tickled my nutsack real hard, because Disney Quest, I loved Disney Quest. I used to go to Disney Quest as often as my parents would let me. This was the fucking innovator of gaming. Like, this shit was so cool. It was a 5-story arcade just filled with chaos, prepubescent hormones throughout the air. Everyone just enjoying cutting-edge technology. Like these goofy fucking games. It was so fun. So, I'll give you a brief lore update. Disney Quest was taken down in 2016. They demolished Disney Quest to put up a fucking NBA experience where you go and just play basketball, like you shoot 3-pointers. You pay $20 to shoot balls, and then it's a merch store, so you just get like NBA merch, and then you can shoot 3-pointers a little bit. It's fucking terrible. It's dog shit. I like basketball, but I don't know why I would pay fucking $20 to just shoot 3-pointers. It's dumb. But Disney Quest, in its death throes, like when it was on its way out, was one of the saddest places you could ever go. I went 5 months before it closed, and I didn't know it was on its way out. I went in late 2015, and it was fucking sad. Half of the games didn't work. There were actual shit stains all over the floor. It hadn't been cleaned in so long. There was only 4 employees that I could count on all 5 floors. It was absolutely disgusting. It was so sad to see it in that state, man. But I wish instead of demolishing it, they just upgraded it. Like, it's still such a good idea. A 5-story arcade is so cool.
However, Disney Regional Entertainment was not even created until over a year after the GameWorks announcement. So did Disney copy the idea? It's certainly not the first time.
Yeah, fuck yeah, they did. It's Disney.
CEO Michael Eisner.
They'll steal shit. Who gives a fuck?
Why? Out of all of the entertainment concepts
that's what they do, baby.
up in the 90s, these parks,
the birthplace of let's party tonight. Yes.
The locations hadn't even been announced.
Fuck
so why expand into an emerging?
I still have that. Hold on. This is one of my prized treasures. Oh yeah. This is where it all began. The humble beginnings of Charles's music career, Disney Quest. Let's party tonight. Oh, it's so good. Buy 6 pounds of chocolate. We're gonna lose control. Yes, sir. And lose control we did. That place is fucking buried now. Play it? I don't have a CD player. I mean, I made a video with it. I can just play the excerpt, I guess.
Let's party.
Oh, yeah. This song slaps. This song fucking slaps so hard. Woo! So at Disney Quest, you could make your own songs, and this is what I came up with. And a DJ too. Is this actually you singing? I was 8 years old. Yes, it was me singing. Such a good song. I mean, that song is timeless. That's up there with the greats. Like the Bohemian Rhapsody for kids. God, what a good song. Thank you, Disney Quest. Sample it for a gentleman song? I actually wanted to. I still do. I wanted to turn it into a Doom-style song and come up with like a crazy, violent, hyper-hardcore, gory music video for it.
Though it had been implemented into specialized use for fields such as medicine and engineering
since the 1970s, and the
virtual reality technology wasn't seen as ready for consumers until the 1990s. One of the first commercial uses of the technology would be the insertion of virtual reality pods into arcades, malls, and movie theaters. These had horrible graphics, constrained movement, high costs, and generalized filth. The system in one game
so not much has changed.
Cost around $50,000 to purchase.
Take that, VR.
Cost the to play,
VR is kind of wacky these days, actually. That's just disingenuous.
And $10
VR is fucking nuts.
For inflation. By the late 90s, the future of the medium was bleak, but GameWorks, and therefore Disney, saw potential. And
there was a lot of VR games at Disney Quest.
Would be the main attractions of
by that I mean 3.
Complexes.
There were 3.
Disney Quest opened its doors on June 19th, 1998. There was little build-up to its debut, and the structure was nearly finished a year prior to its opening. When questioned in the months leading up to its opening, Levitt and other executives referred to
that game sucked ass.
Ultimate
this game is dog shit. This was like the central focal point when you first enter Disney Quest. On the first floor you'd come in, this is the first thing you'd see. It's like this dog shit ass fucking pinball hockey hybrid game that is just completely rigged. At random it would choose one of these little pods here to win, and no matter what you did, that pod would just fucking win. It was terrible.
Still, in the summer of 1998, a large crowd gathered to enter Disney Quest for the first time, not sure what to expect from the new experience.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner. I'm here in the virtual reality studio where Disney Imagineers are creating a whole new world.
Oh, yeah, they are. It's a beautiful world, too.
Inside this headset actually allow you to step into the world of Aladdin on a magic carpet ride. It's called virtual. It's a world which only exists.
Yeah!
Reality.
Look at how cool the world is!
You see not just what's on the screen.
It's so full of life.
The building was a huge 5-story, 100,000 square foot blue box. On the front and back of the building, there was a large set of Mickey ears with Disney Quest in large print. The building had no
I might even be in this video at some point. I fucking lived here for a while.
Concept art for the complex
they gave you like a season pass that was just free entry for like a whole fucking year for $100 or some shit. It's crazy.
To the downtown Disney complex. No, this was the setup to the illusion that the elevators were actually flying you to a new land. It was a subtle and fun touch.
Forgot about the gold elevators.
At the end of the lobby were the turnstiles to get on the elevator. Disney Quest was designed with a central hub, known as Ventureport. Upon entering the main area, guests could see a structure.
I hope he
that
goes
appeared to
through the
be a
majority of the
futuristic
rides. I
telescope.
remember, like the
Connected
big
to
rides, I
Ventureport
remember
were
most
4
of them.
bridges. The replay zone, located on floors 3, 4, and 5, featured midway on the moon, a classic arcade where guests
Yeah,
could play
this was
games
the most
like
boring
Pac-Man,
part.
air hockey, skee-ball, and
Yeah,
Tron.
kinda
An
sucked.
attraction called Buzz
Kinda
Lightyear's
sucked.
Astro Blasters
Banger.
also resided in this area.
Banger.
This was much different than the Buzz Lightyear dark rides that can be found at Disney parks throughout the world.
That is a
Disney Quest
full-blown
version was an
banger
attraction
alert
that
right there.
combined bumper cars with dodgeball. Each vehicle contained 2 guests. One would drive the car, and the other would fire dodgeballs at the other vehicles. The next zone
Those
was
were fucking
Store Zone,
cannonballs is what
also
you were
located on
firing.
floors 3, 4, and 5.
Shit was
the main game
nutty.
in this area was the guests would stand on platforms and lean in different directions,
Game
controlling a
sucked.
virtual pinball on a large screen. Another game in the Score Zone was one of
Oh,
Disney's
yeah.
premier VR attractions,
Mhm.
Ride the Comics. Guests would don large visors and hold motion-detecting sabers, swinging them violently as they fought.
Oh yeah, now we're feeling it.
There were multiple bays.
Ergot was
Bays
in this
looked like
game as well, by
spaceships.
the way.
The last attraction in the Score Zone was Invasion, an extraterrestrial.
Riot Games ripped off Ride the Comics. Ergot was the main villain in Ride the Comics. Hold on, let me see if I can still find the pictures. Damn, it doesn't have the boss battle. Yeah, one of the main bosses that you'd team up on in Ride the Comics was quite literally Ergot. Well, this is sad. They didn't even, like, put their artwork online for prosperity's sake. It's just dead now. I can't even find, like, the promotional pieces. Well, I guess this is as close as we get. Yeah, this was one of the bosses. Quite literally was Ergot. He had, like, a little walker that he'd walk around on.
Other attractions in the Create Zone included Radio Disney Song.
Yeah, that's the place. That's where this banger was brewed. Let's party, party, party tonight. That came from the Songmaker booths there. They should have named one of them after me for the fire I created in this laboratory. It's almost fucking insulting that my name isn't on one of these booths.
Cyberspace Mountain. Cyberspace Mountain was a simulator ride in which guests could design their own roller coaster.
So good.
It began with a tutorial
So
presented
good.
by Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Fucking
explaining
Bill.
to riders how to properly construct their coaster. Cyberspace Mountain allowed guests to ride their creations in a simulator car capable of tilting, turning, and even flipping them.
Oh,
upside
it was
down.
so
A more advanced
good.
version of this concept would later appear in Disney parks as the
Son
Sum of
of
All
a
Thrills,
bitch.
a 2009
It was
addition
cool.
to Innovations in Epcot. The last zone was the Explore Zone.
But it was kind of
located
Weenie
on
Hut
floors
Jr. because
1
if you
and
made
2.
the ride
Guests
too
could see the
extreme,
area
they
either
wouldn't
by
let
the
you ride
stairs
it.
or
So if
from
you
the
did like
third
6
floor
corkscrews back to back, they
Aladdin-themed
wouldn't let you ride it
slide.
because the
However,
G-forces would
this
kill,
was closed
like
after
actually
less than
kill
a year
you.
of operation. The third immersive attraction was
This
the
one was
virtual
okay.
jungle
This one was
cruise.
kind of cool.
Guests would board an inflatable raft.
You'd row and
sitting
shit,
on top of a large pad
yell
in
at your
front of the
mom for
screen.
not putting her
The game
fucking back
started
into
in the
it.
Jungle Cruise at the Magic Kingdom before a virtual skipper sends guests to the age of the dinosaurs. The skipper accidentally drops the device that controls the time machine, and guests paddle down the river in an attempt to grab it. The pad below reacted to the player's paddles and the
They
flow of
spray
the
you with
to
toilet water
maximize
too.
moves.
Yeah, you get hit with
A
raw
less
sewage
immersive
to really get
attraction in the
immersed.
Explore Zone was Treasure of the Ink. Disney Quest also had a few restaurants that guests could eat at. These counter
And they were
service menus were
good.
Food Quest, the Wonder
They only
Man
like
Cafe,
sold French
and the
fries, and that was
Cheesecake
about it.
Factory Express, a smaller scale Cheesecake Factory concept exclusive to Disney Quest. The complex,
Oh my
located on the
God!
corner of Rush and Ohio, was given
Buzz
a large
Lightyear just
opening
blows up.
celebration. Apart from the criticism of the complex's cheesy architecture not fitting in with the surrounding area,
True,
they weren't
very
sure
out of
whether
place.
Disney would see a return on the investment. Interest in both GameWorks and Disney Quest was dwindling fast. The ever-changing landscape of technology was diverting consumer focus to the internet and home consoles. And while the
Thanks,
public was
3 cents,
eager
Line
to
Cat.
experience both indoor amusement center concepts, the chances of locals becoming regulars was falling.
Where are the
rapidly.
gamers at?
This meant that Disney Quest Chicago would
Let's
have
see
to
some
rely more on
gamers.
tourists, which did not bode well for a large-scale regional expansion. The head of attendance calculating at the Walt Disney Company estimated that around 3 million guests would visit Disney Quest per year.
Pretty good.
However, this would have been nearly impossible, as proved by this quote from a 1999 article from the Chicago Tribune. The average length of stay is in the 2.5 to 3 hour range. So to cram in 3 million visitors a year while maintaining some crowd control, Disney Quest would have to stay open about 17 hours a day.
Shit, who did the
every
math?
day, and remain
Redditor?
at full capacity the
No,
entire
they
time.
killed Disney
Apparently,
Quest
no one had
with
learned
math.
anything from the opening of Club Disney. In late 2000, both Disney Quest Orlando and Disney Quest
Thanks
Chicago
for resub,
received a
Takai.
brand new attraction. Hercules in the Underworld was replaced by Pirates
Yes.
of the Caribbean Battle
This
for
was a
the
much better
World,
version.
which featured large screens surrounding a miniature pirate ship that guests would
This one
board.
was cool.
Each player would have a physical cannon that would fire digital cannonballs at enemy ships. Guests playing the game would have to defeat the Jolly Roger, which was not an easy task, and the majority of players would lose the game, with their boats sinking.
Yeah, this game was hard
It
as
is
fuck.
worth
This was
noting
like
that
the
both
Dark
Pirates
Souls of
Caribbean and
dead
Aladdin
VR
Disney Quest
games.
games were designed by Randy Posh. On top of this, Reviews of the Chicago location had not been stellar. The lines were long, the price of admission, $16 for 2.5 hours of games, was too expensive for
That's
many, and the
pretty
complex did
good,
not
to be
deliver the Disney
fair.
magic that the theme parks could.
The
Disney
old
Quest
magical
Orlando
Disney
complemented the
Quest?
resort
I mean,
well,
shit.
but Disney Quest Chicago, however, 2016 came and went, with Disney Quest staying open the entire year.
Really? Wait,
It would
what?
be until January 30th, 2017 that Disney would announce that Disney Quest's final day was to be July 2nd. To commemorate
I
the
thought it closed
closing,
in 2016.
Apple discounts made ticket prices, which had increased slightly in its nearly 2 decades of operation, exactly $19.98, as a tribute to the year that it opened. After 19 years of operation, Disney Quest closed its doors. The building sat abandoned for 1 month, until demolition began in August.
Oh.
Construction has begun on the NBA Experience,
Ugh.
which is set to open in the summer of 2019.
And it sucks.
The
It's
closure of Disney
trash.
Quest Orlando,
Garbage.
along with the recent
I don't care what anyone says. Disney Quest? Fucking paradise. That place was incredible. Except if you went there as an adult in like 2015, because that shit was just sad. The history of Disney's worst attraction ever. Superstar Limo. I don't know that one. Oh, because this was California. Yeah, I never rode this.
The big cheese. I'm not the big. I wish I was the big cheese. This is the big cheese.
Oh my god!
Gee,
Mickey!
for you all day. Well, I want to give you a personal tour of Disney's California Adventure. Ooh, what do you say we start with a ride on California Screamin'?
So, Mickey?
Yeah, this looks like shit.
You know, Mickey, I think this is the beginning.
Sounds
of a
good,
beautiful
monkey.
theme park.
You betcha.
It wasn't. And now the story of a company in panic, and the one CEO who just couldn't seem to catch a break.
So was Michael Eisner like the worst CEO
It
of Disney
is the
ever?
Fun Plan.
Like, this guy seems to fucking suck. He can't get anything right.
2 years later in 1984, it was
Take it
becoming
easy,
increasingly
Queen.
clear that despite Epcot's
Needs to be some
success,
8-track.
Disney as a company was not doing well. A string of box office failures from their studio and big budget projects for the parks had brought Disney to the lowest point in the company's history.
The fuck is
and
Splash?
many feared a takeover. In a bold move by the company,
Oh,
then
wait.
CEO and President Ron Miller, then by the company,
Hold on. Is this the, Yeah, hey, wait, I know Splash. When I was a kid, there's a scene in Splash where the mermaid has her titties out. And you can see side boob. I used to pause that scene occasionally. It wasn't my go-to movie, but I used to watch that occasionally to look at titties when I was a young man. I'll just type it in. Splash titty scene, maybe? Splash titty? Nope. Oh, wow. I don't know what I was thinking with that. I don't know if I can find the scene, but yeah, it's a classic. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
Apart from the Disneyland Hotel, the Rather Corporation also owned the RMS Queen Mary, a retired ocean liner that was permanently docked in Long Beach, California. After Disney acquired the Rather Corporation, Eisner became interested in transforming the Queen Mary and surrounding land into a new resort called Port Disney. Port Disney was to feature
very
hotels,
ambitious.
a cruise ship dock, and an all-new ocean-themed amusement park called Disney Sea. Eisner pitted the cities of Anaheim and Long Beach against one another, trying to decide whether to build Disney Sea as
Holy
the
shit.
second Disneyland resort or build it in Long Beach within Port
Imagine if
Disney.
he
The
actually
announcement was
made
in
that.
January of 1990, and Anaheim and Long
What
Beach both
the
worked with
fuck?
Disney
That
in
looks
order to build a new
nuts.
theme park to their city. However, the citizens of both cities were not.
This man was straight building
Citing the
Atlantis.
issues of the residential neighborhood, Eisner had a simple technique that he often used when he decided on new projects.
What
The
will lose
technique
us
is
the
known
most
as
money
jealousy.
quickest?
Whenever Eisner saw another
Classic
company
Eisner.
doing something successfully, he decided that Disney would do the same thing. Moreover, he would take the idea and do basically the same thing in basically the same place. For instance, after seeing the success of the amusement park zoo hybrid Busch Gardens Tampa in the early 90s, he greenlit Disney's Animal Kingdom. The park was just over an hour from Busch Gardens. After seeing the success of the Church Street Station nightclubs in Orlando, Florida, Eisner greenlit his own nightclubs in Pleasure
So this guy
Island
was just
at the Disney
plagiarized.
Marketplace. Pleasure Island was
And
about
still
half an hour
couldn't
from
do it
Church Street
right.
Station. So when Westcott was canceled and Disney returned to the
Fucking
drawing board,
Eisner.
it wouldn't be long until, since the Disneyland Resort at the time provided
His
such a
whole
short
career was
visit
just
to
copying
vacationers,
homework
many of the guests
badly.
would go explore the other. This concept would develop into the plans for California Adventure, a California-themed theme park to be located in the already California-themed California. Concept art for the park was released in
Who cares about
a year
California
after
that
Westcott
much?
was canceled.
Do you want to
Release date
experience
of
California? Just go
Adventure would
outside
feature
in
everything
California.
from soaring above you. In the Hollywood section of the park, there was to be a
Who needs a
recreation of
fucking
the
tribute to
the
California?
observation
What
deck
the
and
fuck?
former restaurant at the Los Angeles International Airport, which was being renovated by Walt Disney Imagineering around the time that California Adventure was in development. This was to be the show building to one of California Adventure's
Oh my god, this word is losing meaning. I've heard it so many
Superstar
fucking
Limo,
times.
a high-speed dark ride that would
Eisner
take
proposed the
guests on a wild
California,
paparazzi
Californiaception,
chase
California in
As
California
guests
Adventures,
boarded the
California,
attraction, they would be greeted by Michael Eisner. For instance, guests would fly past the famous Tail of the Pup hot
Thanks,
dog
Valentine.
stand
We
with
actually
a
watched
large
all of
band
Chains of Love.
rhinestones creating sounds of flatulence. But as guests turned the corner, it would become clear that this was actually Elvis Presley squirting mustard onto a hot dog. The ride ended with guests reaching the Chinese theater, only to have Eisner tell them that he would have to cancel the contract because they had been caught by the paparazzi. Then, a picture taken of guests while on the ride would be shown, cropped into a tabloid reporting on their limo chase. After this, guests would exit and walk the red carpet into the Chinese theater, which was the gift shop and exit to the attraction, where fake Oscars, on-ride photos, and t-shirts would have been sold. The original concept of Superstar Limo was nothing groundbreaking, but it seemed that it would have been a fun dark ride that would have fit perfectly in the Hollywood section of the park. However, the mid-90s version of the attraction would not be the one that guests experienced when the park opened. And this time, it wasn't Eisner's fault.
I can't even believe that. Eisner paid him to say that.
In August of
This was
1997,
Eisner's fault.
in Paris, France, Diana, Princess of Wales, was killed in a limo accident. Her driver was supposedly fleeing from paparazzi when he lost control of the wheel. The tragedy captured the attention of the entire world, who grieved the death of the princess and the other passengers. As for Eisner and his team, they now had a big problem. Superstar Limo could no longer be a high-speed paparazzi chase. It would now seem that it was some sort of twisted reference to the tragedy. The Imagineers scrambled.
Eisner got fucked on that one.
Cloning it. Unfortunately, if their job was to please the boss, they had done it a little too well. Eisner, who had been in the entertainment industry for decades, adored the inside jokes and Hollywood gags.
Jesus Christ, Eisner.
He greenlit the new, terrible version of the attraction. Imagineering, most likely baffled at what they now had to do, did their best to make the attraction work. This art style was also used within the ride itself. The only three-dimensional animated figures would be that of celebrities. But due to the lack of budget,
who was that, Jared Fogle? Who the fuck just popped out there?
Disney Company already had contracts with. Also, these were not animatronics, but barely animated figures with minimal, unconvincing movement. At some point,
who's
Eisner
that?
realized that
That's
the ride
Regis?
was going to be bad. The retooled ride opened with California Adventure on February 8th, 2001. So was it as bad as they thought it would be? Yes. Yes, it was.
I want to see it. Let's fucking ride it, baby. Get me on there with a GoPro. Let's go.
The inside jokes to California and the entertainment industry would begin with a female announcer giving instructions to arriving passengers.
Try not to fall asleep on the ride. That's the only rule.
No schmoozing.
Oh, hey, that was the only rule.
Guests
Fuck
would
yeah.
encounter
Good
television
guess.
screens
A
and
genius.
an entertainment news report. After guests winded their way through the queue, they would approach the ground transportation section of the airport and board their limo. A sparkly, purple, cartoonish limo.
Hey, that looks pretty cool if you ask me.
Cars and tells them to enjoy their premiere.
As a solid whip.
Sent on their way into their
This is fucking drifting around corners.
An announcer tells them to keep their hands, feet, and egos in the limo at all times. Ha! The limo enters a dark tunnel.
Hey, don't be mean to the ride. What the fuck? It's not their fault. They didn't want to do it.
The next show scene is the Sunset
cool.
Strip. Here, guests get to see Tim Allen and Jackie Chan.
Tim
After this, guests
Allen!
enter a second tunnel
And
are
Jackie
reminded by
Chan,
their agents
yeah!
to be late. Guests are shown an on-ride photo of themselves before entering the final tunnel, where their agent tells them that they are a superstar. And that was Superstar Limo.
And Hookins. I don't know why he called it the worst attraction ever. That shit looked fucking awesome.
Here we go. Now this is not a scary fast ride, right?
No. This is just like a
You don't get it. You can't just experience it with a video. You have to be in there and feel the hydraulics and the adrenaline of like being in the car as it slowly drives through. It's not the same with just a video.
This is a really easy ride to go on. Yeah? Okay.
JCC in sync. Woo! Let's fucking get it.
Hold your breath now.
Whoa! Look at how much fun Drew's having. Wow, this is one hell of a ride.
Hollywood favorite, Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, we're having fun.
There might be no better way to illustrate the reaction the public had to the ride than the on-ride photos. It is no surprise that the ride was received negatively, with guests complaining
Can't
that they
imagine
waited
why.
a half hour to ride the cheap pop-up book. Superstar Limo was not the only issue. California Adventure as a whole was berated by the general public and critics alike.
But overall, the lines were so short at times out here.
I thought it was closed.
The new management team constructed the Pixar-themed dark ride, Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue. The simple dark ride would take guests throughout the events of the first Monsters, Inc. film, and it was set to open on January 23rd.
Looks like shit. Boo. Where's Tim Allen? Oh wait, Tim Allen actually does voice in this, doesn't he?
Oh no. The ride very much lives on.
Tim Allen is in Monsters, Inc., isn't he?
Since the Monsters, Inc. dark ride was a quick fix.
No? Okay. Alright. Boo. Fuck this. No Tim Allen.
And there was one more thing. Oh yeah. They
Can't
stripped the
click link
C-list
Sonic, but
celebrity
wouldn't watch
figures
that
and dressed
tonight
them into
anyway.
various animatronics throughout the ride. Some of these zombatronics are more obvious than others, and the Drew Carey and Jackie Chan figures are especially easy to spot. But don't worry.
Yeah!
Most, if not every... The story is a good reminder that even a company as big as Disney can still get themselves into financial difficulty, creative gridlock, and even some pretty wacky situations.
That is
On the
pretty
next,
wacky.
Defunct Land.
Okay, one more Defunct Land. The failure of Disney's Chuck E. Cheese ripoff Club Disney. I'm thinking the Chuck E. Cheese one as well.
During all of this, Eisner himself would cash in stock options of nearly $600 million.
Holy
Money was
shit!
flying all over the place at the Walt Disney Company.
What
but none
the
of it was going to
fuck?
the company's other major division. Disney Parks had gone on a roller coaster of its own.
No wonder he didn't fucking care about making Disney any good.
Disney decade was
Good
not going as
God.
planned.
Defunct Land is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Was that
In
Killer
the
Bean?
1990s, the Wild West of
Like, get
themed
Jeff Lu to
entertainment.
voice that one?
Apart from the recent themed restaurant chains were sprouting up all over the country, with the usual suspects being Rainforest Cafe, the Hard Rock Cafe, and Planet Hollywood.
Oh, Planet
The most
Hollywood was so
unexpected of the
good.
new developments might have been the
fuck?
rise in
The place was
indoor
great.
children's play places. These were a mix of tubes, slides, ball pits, nets, stairs with steps.
Stupid
following
kids
the
having
body,
fun on a
socks,
boring course.
Socks with holes in them.
Running swing here? I don't think so.
Damn, marketing was so different back then. Holy shit.
I don't think so. Then where?
This is like some TikTok shit.
DZ is made just for me. A place where I can really cut loose.
What the fuck is DZ? D's nuts or something? Like, what the fuck is this? I've never heard of DZ. Discovery Zone?
Opened its first location in Canada, opening 39 more locations until being purchased in 1992 by wealthy Chicago businessman Donald Flynn. In less than 3 years,
Donald
the chain
Flynn,
expanded
big
to
man.
340 locations. McDonald's had noticed the competition, and in 1991 had created their own chain of indoor amusement
I don't know about
centers
that,
named
Num
Leaps
Nums.
and Bounds.
It's too nostalgic.
McDonald's would not be able to keep up with Discovery Zone, and would sell all 48 Leaps and Bounds locations to the company in 1994. Around this time, Blockbuster Video, who owned about 20% of Discovery Zone, went up its stake to 50.1% and would assume
Goliath.
control of the company in 1995. And 13 Fun Centers, along with the Discovery Zone name and logo, were purchased by the company's main competitor, a powerful rat
Oh,
named Charles
shit.
Entertainment Cheese.
That son of a bitch. Wow. That is horrifying. What the fuck? I cannot believe this place was successful. This is like actual horror movie shit. Like, that rat is fucking methed out.
Many
Thanks for
locations would be
Sophia.
quickly bought by rival chain Showbiz Pizza Place, which was
Ooh.
started by a Chuck E. Cheese franchisee in 1980. Showbiz Pizza did not rebrand any of the Chuck E. Cheese restaurants, and the two chains would eventually be merged in 1990, with Showbiz Pizza Time Incorporated choosing to go all in on the Chuck E. Cheese brand, abandoning Showbiz Pizza's animatronic band, the Rock-afire Explosion, in the process. Throughout all of the
Damn,
financial
Showbiz
issues
is
and
going in on the
restructurings, there were
technology
still over
there.
250
Those animatronics
operating
look smooth.
locations in 1992. It was around this time that the Walt Disney Company took note of the success of these companies. While they might have been late to the game, they expected to fit right in. After all, Discovery Zone had been described as an indoor Disney World, and Chuck E. Cheese's used Disney as a major inspiration during its development. If Disney utilized the same concept, implementing their attention to detail and intellectual properties, they could dominate the new market.
And dominate they did.
One day, Michael Eisner himself walked in looking to purchase some items for Disney. The fact that the CEO of one of the world's largest corporations was concerned with something as small as furniture was a true testament to Eisner's micromanagement. Levitt and Eisner apparently hit it off, and he was quickly named Director of Corporate Projects and Executive Assistant to Eisner. During his first tenure with Disney, he would also become an executive in charge of
Just because he fucking gave him an over-the-pants hand job at a furniture store?
Locations,
What?
including the Disney Village Marketplace and its Pleasure Island nightclub district. Levitt came up with the idea for an ESPN-themed restaurant to be placed on Pleasure Island. In 1993,
how do you even convince the board of directors to accept that?
A company that
I was shopping for
operated multiple
furniture, and you got to meet this guy,
cafe
Art
locations.
Levitt. I mean, he's
Just 2 years
such a nice
later,
guy. He
he
gave me
would
like a
return to
fucking
Disney,
fist bump and shit.
equipped with new
Yeah, I'm
expertise
gonna
on
put him in charge of our whole
location-based
company.
themed entertainment, an area for children under 3 called the Pooh and You Corner, a storybook time, and a variety of arcade games.
Cool name.
At some locations, there was a Little Mermaid themed.
All right, I'm just gonna go play in the
kids
Pooh and
could,
You.
Quote, some locations had a magician performing tricks as Merlin, and the cake for the parties was catered by the
What?
Cheesecake Factory. A child
That's
could
actually
only enter
nuts.
Club Disney with an adult, and both were given a
Cheesecake
special
Factory
wristband with a
bangs.
barcode.
I mean, that's
So
like
no child could leave with
if
a
you don't know
different
what you
adult
want to
than
eat, you
one
go to
they
the
came
Cheesecake
with.
Factory
This
and you
was
get a
to
whole
ease the
fucking
minds of
dictionary
parents,
full of
to allow
pages
the
and pages
kids
of
to roam
shit to
free
eat.
within the complex,
So
and to
many
ensure
different
that
food
no
items,
parents
all
treated Club
20,000
Disney as a
calories.
daycare center. The head of attendance calculating at the Walt Disney Company estimated that over 10,000 visitors would show up on opening day. And surprise, he was a little off. When Club Disney opened its doors on February 21st, 1997, only 1,000 visitors showed.
Oh,
proving that
shit.
No one had learned anything from Euro Disneyland's opening. One sheriff was quoted saying, "We were expecting a lot more people. Maybe because Disney advertised that tens of thousands were going to be here, it
That's
scared
rough.
people away." While reviews were positive, Club Disney was not without its critics. One of the higher-end malls that Club Disney had moved into accused Disney of ignoring the complex's theming standards by implementing their cheesy design. Also, parents complained about the price of admission, especially the necessity for a separate adult ticket, as they were not participating in the club's activities and were required to be there.
True.
Club Disney
It's pretty
also
scummy.
proved that Disney was best off not teaching anything ever. The company was cutting costs across the board, and Club Disney became another casualty of the financial issues. The chain was closed on November 1st, 1999, having never expanded past its original 5 locations.
Jesus Christ.
This was around the same
That's
time
rough.
that Discovery Zone ceased its operations, leading many to believe that
Thanks for
indoor
finding
play
some
settings were
Axis.
just a fad of the 90s.
Appreciate it. Thank you for the
As Chuck E.
generosity.
Cheese's would prove, there is some longevity to the concept, so long as you innovate or evolve. As for Disney Regional Entertainment,
Chuck E. Cheese
Club
hasn't
Disney
fucking
would be the
evolved. What are you
smallest
talking
of their
about?
3 projects. Another
Why is it
regional
still
chain
fucking
Levitt
weird?
would create was
ESPN
the complexes were
Zone.
part bar,
What a cool
part
place
restaurant,
to be.
Part arcade, part gift shop, and part broadcast studio. It was such a hit among sports fans
Thanks for
that there
5
were
gift
apparently
subs
points
sucks,
where
and the
guests
5
would have
gift
to be
subs
dragged
man didn't
out for
start.
staying an
The
excessive amount
back-to-back
of
gift
time.
subs.
The ESPN Zone would also put on the ultimate couch potato competition, a sitting competition that challenged participants to watch TV without falling asleep or getting up, only allowing a bathroom break every 8 hours. One year, the winner
What?
watched TV for 3 straight days.
What the fuck? Wait, what?
ESPN
No
Zone
way
opened in
someone didn't
Baltimore
die
on
from
July
deep vein
11th,
thrombosis.
1998.
No way.
The brand would grow to a total of 9 locations.
Ever since Disney got the rights to Star Wars, they've been treating that property like a coin block in Super Mario World. They just keep jumping up and hitting it for an infinite money cheat code. They have been pumping out so much Star Wars content that by this point there's more Star Wars media than there is breathable oxygen on our planet. They've recently announced 9 new Star Wars games and 12 new shows and movies. Absolutely blasting everyone's ass with as much Star Wars as a colon can fit. Now, I would consider myself a Star Wars fan. I think the new trilogy is insufferable garbage that's borderline unwatchable, but I think anyone with eyes has that same opinion. But I like the extended universe and specifically the Old Republic stuff. So I'm not exactly mad that there's so much Star Wars on the horizon, but I am genuinely upset and really disappointed that they haven't announced a spin-off, like a show or a game, for Star Wars' most beloved character, Glup Shido. I'm sure most of you are familiar with the legend of Glup Shido, especially if you've followed Star Wars for any length of time, but I'll give you a brief lore recap. Glup Shido came into existence back during the Old Republic era and was able to achieve immortality, and he has thus persisted throughout all of Star Wars, mainly as like a puppet master behind the scenes, controlling the narrative from behind. He's neither good nor evil. He's kind of like the Morbius of Star Wars. Glup Shido has grand plans that still haven't been realized even after all of this time in universe, and I just think Glup Shido was a prime candidate for a show or a movie, or probably both, honestly, to tell his story. And with a lot of people suffering from fatigue of being just inundated with Star Wars content, I think Glup Shido could have been the lightning rod to reignite interest in Star Wars as a whole. And that's really what I want to talk about today. So Glup Shido started as a meme on Tumblr poking fun at Star Wars fans who always have the same fucking wild reaction whenever a new show or movie is announced, where people get extremely hype and lose their mind over recognizing a cameo of a character that no one's ever heard of, and they just go so crazy for it. There's always thousands of tweets and videos reacting to the new show and movie with them like pointing at the screen like losing their mind. Oh my god, they brought back Bung Dooble from that Star Wars offshoot cartoon 19 years ago. Then they just go like full primal caveman mode, like their favorite football team just won the Super Bowl, screaming like, ah, this fucking guy had 3 scenes in that cartoon from back in the day. I can't believe he's here again. I'm so happy. And I know a lot of people get upset about this, like just let people enjoy things. It's not hurting anyone. What's the big deal? And you're absolutely right. It's not a big deal. It's not hurting anyone. And there's nothing wrong with getting super hyped that Biff Dumperooski from Star Wars Rebels bathroom scene that lasted 4 seconds is back. You know, that's great. I'm super glad that you're excited about that. But there's also nothing wrong with joking about it either, because it's very unique to Star Wars fans in particular. They get excited for any cameo of any character that's ever existed in the universe at all. If you look at like other properties that have that same level of fandom, like Marvel, they usually only get excited for superheroes. You know, like if they recognize a superhero from the comic books or a superhero that's already had their own property, like important characters that they recognize, then they pump their fist and go crazy. But Star Wars fans get excited if they recognize a fucking prop from a movie 50 years ago, like, holy shit, did anyone else notice in the new Boba Fett episode, the stool that Boba Fett sat on at the bar is actually the exact same stool that Han Solo sat in during the Christmas special of 1979. This is fucking incredible. They brought the stool back. The continuity's insane. I'm bawling my eyes out and I haven't stopped crying. This is amazing. You know, like they just get super excited for like background characters and background shit that no one gives a fuck about and no one even knows exist outside of like a few people ever. And today was a great example of it and why I'm talking about Glup Shido, because there was so much new Star Wars information announced as well as trailers and stuff. And some people noticed a character popped up briefly, a character they recognized from something else. And it was a bit of a hype fest on Twitter for Gungi, a Wookiee Jedi. I don't know anything about Gungi. I've never heard of Gungi before, but people were going wild, and thus Glup Shido's name was brought back into the megamix here, because this was a certified Glup Shido moment. I, of course, looked into Gungi, and it's not exactly a prominent character or anything. It's the very definition of a background character from everything I see here. They appeared in the Clone Wars and only have indirect mentions elsewhere. And people were going wild for it. And if you want another example, on the same day, they also announced Babu Frick will be appearing in Mandalorian Season 3. And you guessed it, people went ballistic. They had Frick fever. Babu is back. This is a trend with the Star Wars fandom that dates as far back as the original trilogy, with things like Admiral Akbar as well as the musicians. I actually think they're called jizz players or something like that. There's always just been, in Star Wars, people that go wild for these background characters that nobody else even really notices half the time, except for Akbar. Most people still remember Akbar. But for the most part, it's characters nobody has ever heard of ever. And they just go wild when they see them in any capacity at all. And there is something like wholesome about it. Like, it's kind of cute that characters like Babu Frick, who aren't really interesting in any way, still for some reason have a fan base around them. It's fucking amazing. So anyway, Glup Shido. I think the best thing Star Wars can do for itself is bring Glup Shido into the universe canon. I don't really even care how they do it. Maybe they do it as like a one-off mention, like on a foreign planet in their upcoming Andor series. The character goes up to like a real sketchy guy like Darth Insanius, and he's like, hey, have you heard of Glup Shido? Where is he? No one knows where Glup Shido is. Like, you know, and that would be enough. Just bring Glup Shido into it officially at this point. Because half of the fan base actually engages in some real Glup Shittery with how wild they go for characters that no one knows or no one cares about. And I want to make it clear, I'm not complaining. I actually love to see these posts where people are like, Boogoobie is back! Holy shit, Star Wars made him canon! He started his fanfic on DeviantArt, but I just saw him flippin' patties in the background of Jehubilex in the new Andor trailer. This is amazing. I can't believe I'm so happy. Like, that's great. I'm glad people are excited, and I get a smile on my face learning about more characters that'll probably have less than 4 seconds of screen time in the background of a show that no one has ever heard of ever. I think that's fucking great. I love that kind of like really niche, goofy shit. So again, I want to make it clear I'm not complaining. I just wanted to talk about it because I find it so fascinating and so interesting, as well as just overall entertaining. Because I think Glup Shido is such a great name and such a great potential character. They could go full Darth Jar Jar Binks with it and have Glup Shido be the ultimate evil. Like, that's where the Force comes from. The Force is just particles that Glup Shido has thrown out into the universe somehow. I don't really care. I just think it's really enjoyable. So I wanted to talk about it. That's about it. So yeah. There's a problem that we need to discuss briefly, so please step into my office and close the door behind you and get a bucket out for puking. It's about to get gross. Disney, a name I'm sure you're all familiar with, it's a place of magic, adventure, and dreams. But what happens when that dream becomes a nightmare? And I'm talking about a sleep paralysis demon that's recently been paying Epcot a visit. And more specifically, Remy's Ratatouille ride at Epcot. Remy's Ratatouille has become less of a ride and more... Hello, Io. Yeah, she heard Ratatouille and, sprung into action. She's a huge fan. But yeah, anyway, I don't know what it is about Remy's Ratatouille, but they are summoning the pervert devil. It's like a full-blown exorcism, but instead of dumping out ectoplasm and a haunted spirit, it's actually dumping out cum. There have been 2 separate instances of park guests going to the Remy's Ratatouille ride and exposing their penis. One of them was actually wanted for other sexual pest degeneracy crimes and was caught on Remy's Ratatouille smoking, watching porn, and masturbating, even finishing a full-blown climax and just dumped his DNA all over the Ratmobile. So he literally turned it into just a fucking cum dumpster. And then the following day, another park guest was getting trespassed outside of the Remy's Ratatouille ride. And during this situation with the park authorities, the guy just dropped trouser, exposing his penis to the public, as if he was doing a show and tell on cock. Both of these cases happened only a few weeks ago, so Lord only knows what we could be in another month if this continues, if it becomes some kind of trend. Maybe this is the curse of Remy's Ratatouille. Yeah, it's getting scary out there. But yeah, I thought this was so fucking weird, and I hadn't heard anyone talking about it, so I figured it's our duty here to discuss the important things that others are too afraid to tackle, such as turning Remy's Ratatouille into your personal masturbatorium and ejaculating on this ride. It's a fucking ride made for children at a Disney park. It doesn't get more degenerate than that. It's unbelievably fucking disgusting. Someone mentioned that earlier. Man caught watching porn and masturbating on a Disney ride. Forgot to look it up though. New Jersey man caught smoking and watching porn on Remy's Ratatouille adventure in Epcot. That'll get you every time. I don't even know why they bothered to include smoking. That's like the least startling news here. Robert Fitzpatrick was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor charge of exposing his sex organs. That sounded like straight out of biology class. Was there no one else on the ride? There are warrants for Fitzpatrick's arrest for sex crimes in California and New Jersey. Further details on those out-of-state charges were not included. Disney cast members were first leery of Fitzpatrick when he wanted to sit alone in a rat or ride cart on March 29th. Generally, guests share the cart with other people. It was suspicious that the guest was in the cart alone. Why though? Why would you ever want to do that? Is it the ride that brought it out of him, or just like that? It's not even like exhibitionist. It's like literally alone masturbating in a weird location. Several cast members monitoring the attraction in surveillance room saw Fitzpatrick smoke and touch himself. Twice they stopped the attraction and made a loudspeaker announcement that smoking was not permitted. They should have just called him out by name, like, Ryan, put out the stogie and put your dick back in your pants, please. Just ruin the magic for a moment. Ride continued on, and Fitzpatrick began looking at porn on his cell phone and put his hand down his pants. Fitzpatrick then pulled his penis out in the open and continued masturbating inside the ride cart. One cast member said he ejaculated before leaving the ride vehicle. Holy shit. So this is what he defiled, huh? That sick bastard. Even the rat looks concerned. On Remy's Ratatouille of all places is nothing sacred. Have some decency. Take that elsewhere. Take that to Dueling Dragons, but not Remy's Ratatouille. Please. The rat is pregnant now. I know. And they're gonna have to retire the vehicle. Or rather, they should. At that point, that it's gone through too much already. Don't subject anyone else to the horror. Like, yeah, you can clean the cum, but the cum never fully leaves. The memories last forever. Just get rid of the cart, like a jersey, like a jersey number. Just retire it. Should be noted that although Robert was alone inside the cart has vents open to the public and is constantly being recorded while the ride is in motion. I haven't been on Remy's Ratatouille, but is this not a ride that, like, turns the carts around? Because I remember in a lot of these, like, I don't know, what do they call them? Like, slow movers? Weenie Hut Jr. shit, where you just, like, slowly go through something and look at screens. Usually they have, like, the carts turn, and, they, like, you can see other riders. Is that not the case for Remy's Ratatouille? Because I feel like at that case, there's a lot of families that got a lot more than they bargained for out of this show. It's trackless. So it does turn. I can already imagine, like, the parents, like, shielding their eyes. Oh, Jesus Christ! No, he's also got a chef in his pants, and he's cooking over there. Please, God. No. Oh, my Lord. The following day, Disney and law enforcement dealt with a second incident at Epcot where another man was arrested for exposing himself. There's an outbreak. There's a plague sweeping through Epcot right now. Good Lord. Man, Remy's Ratatouille just really gets the juices flowing. A sheriff's deputy was back at Remy's Ratatouille Adventure on March 30th, where a Disney manager reported that Sherwin Shayagan was constantly causing issues inside the park, the arrest report said. He threw items on the ground when authorities escorted him out of Epcot. Who is this? Sherwin Sharingan? I don't understand. Is this the guy who exposed himself? Waited for a taxi to take him back to his hotel, and the deputy was writing the trespass paperwork when he pulled down his clothes, exposing his penis to those present. That went from a trespassing charge right to, like, an actual, like, felony. Pulling your cock out at a Disney park. Jesus. Also been charged with exposing his sexual organs, a misdemeanor, according to circuit court records. This feels like a really light charge. Exposing yourself is one thing, but exposing yourself in a children's amusement park is a totally different thing. Aren't those two... Isn't that like a more serious charge? It's not a huge crime because Remy from Ratatouille was pulling his hair, forcing him to do it. Yeah, imagine he's just been framed. There was also a Disney employee who got fired for filming 500 plus videos under women's skirts yesterday. What is happening at Disney? Jesus Christ. What? Disney employee accused of taking videos of park guests' dresses and skirts for years is fired and arrested. Man, there is no magic left at Disney. Just terror. Authorities responded to Disney Hollywood Studios March 31st after an employee was witnessed recording an upskirt video of a female guest at the Star Wars retail store, according to an affidavit. Jorge Diaz, 26, told authorities in an interview that he had been taking videos of dresses and skirts of unknown females in Disney World theme parks for approximately 6 years. The man just openly admits it? He's like, so you finally caught me. I'm like the Zodiac killer of upskirts. I've already filmed 500 plus videos. Diaz, who worked at the lightsaber store, told authorities he had what he estimated to be over 500 videos on his phone and showed multiple examples of the videos to detectives. This guy, like, seems very proud, like, happy he got caught. You guys finally got me. This is great news. Here, come check my camera roll. Look at these. He told the detectives he took the videos because it's hard to find them online and they bring him sexual gratification. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Holy shit. Absolute degenerate. Why is his bond only $2,500? He has been released from the Orange County Jail. You best be wearing jeans from now on when you go out around the area. This man's probably got a whole network of cameras set up for those upskirts. They were impressed by his honesty. Man, this guy is fucking evil, but he's an honest man. God damn it. I really don't know how their charges aren't more severe. Like, to expose yourself in public is already bad, and to do it at a children's theme park is much, much, much worse. Significantly worse. And then the upskirt situation, 500 plus videos, this is a serial sex pest. Like, these aren't, this isn't like some goofy thing. This is like actual crimes. Like, the charges don't sound nearly severe enough for what they have done. So I was super shocked to be reading that. Maybe that's just like preliminary charges, and as the case continues to develop, more things will be tacked onto it as they discover more and, you know, go after them harder, hopefully. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about these situations because I hadn't heard anyone discuss it, really, and I thought it was fucking weird. So that's really about it. So yeah. A little over a year ago, Disney overdosed on skooma, and their delusion really went off the rails when they finally launched their Star Wars Hotel experience. This was a prime receptacle for spitballs and tomatoes. Boos heard around the world because it was laughably overpriced and extremely confusing on what you were even paying for in the first place. It was initially announced like way back in 2017, and it was supposed to carry a price tag of $6,000 for a 2-night stay, but it could go as low as $4,000 as well. It's called the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, and it's supposed to be a fully immersive Star Wars experience for superfans to spend 2 nights in this like underground bunker hotel facility that's supposed to be like a murder mystery, song and dance with all kinds of Star Wars characters, as well as a hotel, as well as fine dining. It basically just takes a ton of different things, threw it at a dartboard and said, okay, it's going in the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, we're going to charge a fucking outrageous price. At $4,000 or $6,000 for 2 nights, I would expect to have a room on a legitimate fucking spaceship. With that amount of money, those rooms better be coming with that titty alien that Mark Hamill milks in the movie. Like, that is a crazy price tag. $1,200 per person per night? My god. You'd need to be like fucking Scrooge McDuck to be able to afford that, or the biggest Star Wars fan in the world who's willing to just dump everything into a 2-night experience. But what's crazy is it looks miserable to stay in. Here's the rooms. Here's one of the 100 cabin rooms. It's basically like a little prison. Like, your children get these small pods in the wall. The bed looks rather small. Like, this is not what you would expect for this amount of money. You go to the goddamn Star Wars gulag. It's so startling. There's no windows. Like, keep in mind, there's no windows in these rooms. All you get is these little screens supposed to look like you're out in space, but it looks really dated. It doesn't seem like they put a whole lot of effort into that, but I haven't been, so maybe it's cooler in person. But there's no windows, so you're basically going in there into like a goddamn stasis chamber there, 2 days away from the world. And when you're not forsaken to your solitary confinement room on the Star Wars Galactic Looney Bin, you get interactive theater out the wazoo, which to me sounds like one of the circles of hell somewhere, where you can't escape theater and people in character for Star Wars 24/7. That just seems way, way too much. So the pictures I'm getting are from a video from DFB Guides, who went over the entire Star Wars hotel experience, and overall, it's just an expensive, confusing, jumbled mess from everything I've seen. And this opened only a little over a year ago, and it's already closing. This was a complete disaster for Disney, I imagine. Of course, I'm not their fucking accountant. I can't flip through their books here and double check. But I just can't imagine at that price point, as well as how awful their marketing had been for it, that it was financially successful for them. They're writing it off as like a business decision that they've decided to close it so shortly after launch, but that doesn't make any sense. That just sounds like a bad business decision if it was doing well. It's 100 cabins, clearly a very expensive endeavor, and they're already giving up after a year. When this shit launched, it had terrible publicity. Like, they made these marketing pitches that gave people no insight into what they were paying for. So people already started kind of wiping their ass with the whole idea of even staying there or considering it. It turned everyone off immediately, and it's never recovered. Now, it's worth mentioning, among the people that have paid a visit to this facility, the majority of them are saying that they enjoyed it and that it was worth the cost. I don't know if that's genuine or if it's some level of brainwashing where they paid so much money that they convinced themselves that they had to enjoy it, thus they did. But people did seem to like it when they paid all that money for it, and that makes sense because if you're a super fan of Star Wars, there's nothing you're going to dislike about it. You're just perpetually inundated with constant stimulation of Star Wars shit, so I imagine most fans probably would have loved it. I still don't know how you could really like the rooms, though. Even in all the videos I've seen and all the people that visit the rooms, they are super small for how much you're paying. You are not getting, like, a luxury cabin. It's very much like a summer camp, like band camp fucking cabin here. I'm still a bit baffled by the decision to have the guests stay in these tight, windowless quarters. Like, that sounds miserable. Why that? Like, what's the next Star Wars hotel gonna be? Pay $10,000 and we'll freeze you in carbonite like Han Solo? Like, this is not a comfortable, stay. Which I think is just ridiculous for how much you're paying to be there. And where you sleep in a hotel, I would argue, is the most important thing about a hotel. Though I guess in this case it's supposed to be more than that. It's supposed to be like a Star Wars experience where you fucking transcend the human race for a brief moment and take a journey into fantasy. But then when you come out from reality, you leave this underground nuclear fallout shelter of the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, you realize you're $6,000 down and about to miss a house payment or something. I still can't get over just how expensive this fucking place is. Or was. The final voyage is coming up in September, so it's on its way out, but still. One other thing I want to mention is when these announcement videos were first coming out, these pictures were first surfacing of the experience, one thing that I heavily criticized was the food. It hypes itself up as being like fine dining, pinky out establishment kind of thing. And the food they were showcasing looked like slop. Actual prison slop that they would serve on a tray at like a maximum security ward. It didn't look like high quality food for that price. It'd have names like the Yakbi Shrimp Blue Milk Glorb Stuffer, and what you would see on the plate is like 2 tiddlywinks of pork and a small piece of bread or something. But after going through and watching more of the videos over the last like 4 or 5 months, the food does look fine. So I don't know why they chose the most unflattering promotional pieces for their food in the beginning, but it does seem like the food is a big hit with the people that go there, and from what I see, it looks fine. Albeit it has the cardinal sin that every high dining facility has, where you get portion sizes that wouldn't be enough to fill the belly of a bumblebee. So that's always, in my opinion, a bit of a scam to charge so much and receive so little, but that's just the trend in very expensive restaurants, unfortunately. I always think portion sizes are important, so if you're paying a lot of money, you should be able to fill your full belly. You should walk out of there feeling full, satisfied, and your gluttony, satiated. But anyway, the food does look fine, and that was something that I was very vocal about in the beginning, being lackluster. Some of you may remember I toyed around with the idea of getting the gang together and spending the 2 nights at that hotel. But we really sidelined that idea, fucking flushed that down the toilet because that is way too expensive. So I don't think we're ever going to do that. That's not worth the amount of money for the sake of like basically a joke or just to experience something awful. Like, none of us are huge Star Wars fans. Like, I like Star Wars. I couldn't stand the new trilogy, but overall I love the Star Wars universe, especially everything with the Old Republic. This has nothing to do with that, so this wouldn't even be in my favorite era of Star Wars. And none of my friends are big Star Wars fanatics either, so it's not like we'd get anything out of this other than like not having fun and trying to make a joke out of it, which is not worth fucking $6,000. So I don't think that's happening. I want to go ahead and clear that up. We're not going even before it closes. It's not worth it. Now, at the funeral for the Star Wars Hotel, Disney's trying to put on a strong face, saying that this premium boutique experience gave us the opportunity to try new things on a smaller scale of 100 rooms, and as we prepare for its final voyage, we'll take what we've learned to create future experiences that can reach more of our guests and fans. I'm not on the Disney Superstar Board of Directors or anything, but I'll offer you some free consultation here. Lower the price. No one is paying $1,200 per person per night. That's a crazy ask. You could have saved yourself a huge headache if you just made this more accessible financially for most people. I think that's the way that you reach new guests and more fans, right? Like it seems like a pretty simple solution to the mathematical equation here. So I think it was just way too expensive. I have no doubt there's a lot of people that probably would have loved to go there and couldn't afford to. So they completely missed out on that entire market. Now, like I said, they are trying to treat it like a learning experience, and I have no doubt they fucking learned a lot from this. They invested a ton into the project, a lot of time and a lot of money, and they're kind of eating shit on it, it seems. So, yeah, that's really about it. See ya. Disney Adult. If that didn't just jump scare you and send a shiver down your spine, then you've either never heard of a Disney Adult, never met one, or you're not human. Because you should be afraid. Very afraid. Now, of course, not all Disney adults are built the same. There's different levels of it. I'm talking about the most extreme level of completely obsessed to the point where it becomes their entire life and identity. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of Disney products as an adult. I like a lot of Disney things. But there's a big difference between greaseball, goofball, goblin man Charles and a Disney adult that's willing to uproot their entire life just to be closer to the theme parks in order to go every single day. You may think that this is some kind of crazy exaggeration that doesn't happen, but it does. More often than you think. There are a large number of seemingly totally normal people that for some reason have been completely brainwashed and perpetually spend a large chunk of their paycheck consuming Disney products or just going to Disney properties way more often than any reasonable person should. It's so weird. And Disney knows this, which is why they've now recently announced that they're building their own community, their own neighborhood, basically, for Disney adults to go live together and be part of the Disney family forever. Even just the marketing material give me the heebie-jeebies saying that this is going to be the best chapter of your life, like forever. I don't know, that's eerie sounding. Visiting a Disney neighborhood sounds worse than visiting hell. At least the demons and devils in hell aren't pretending to be something they're not. Because Disney is an evil corporation. I don't care how you spin it, no matter how big of a fan you are of Disney properties. Disney as a corporation is one of the greediest, shadiest, and just downright deplorable companies there is in the world. For a company that's supposed to be all about magic and being the happiest place on earth, the only time Disney seems to be at its happiest is when they're magically face-fucking you with their insatiable gluttony to shake you down for all of your lunch money and keep you perpetually suckling on their teat, consuming only their milk. It is a scary company. I'm not here to really get into the weeds of all of the awful things Disney has done since its inception, but I do want to get into the weeds of the neighborhood here because I find this to just be like a dystopian idea where corporations like Disney are going to start building their own communities. In my opinion, it's just an alarming idea. But anyway, the first one from Disney here is being pitched as story living, and there's no information on pricing that I can find at the moment, but since it's Disney, you can bet your sweet bippy it's going to be overpriced. You'll be paying 7 figures for a 1-bed, 1-bath, 400 square foot crack shack without a driveway, because in the Disney neighborhood, you use magic to get around or some shit. Like, you're gonna overpay for your property in the Disney neighborhood, I imagine. But one thing that really stands out to me is in the pitch here, they have this legendary service notice where it says, at Cotino Community, which is the first part of Story Living, cast members will strive to deliver the same friendly Disney service you've come to expect. This was super odd to me. What do you mean cast members? It's a neighborhood, right? I've lived in neighborhood communities my entire life, and I've never seen NPCs wandering around checking in on me, making sure I'm abiding by rules and regulations, asking me questions. This sounds more like spies. And the whole idea of this neighborhood is actually bigger than I thought it was. It's not just a residential community. This is basically a place that they're building for people to go to die. In addition to having housing from Disney, the community is seemingly isolated from the rest of the world, just locked into this one fucking dimension over here, like where Squidward went to be all alone, but this time it's only for the most obsessed Disney fans. So you would have property in the community, and the community itself also has stores and restaurants and like activities and events all held within that neighborhood, as well as like a beach that you have to pay for access to as well, even as a community member. So it really feels like this is where people would go and then not leave. That's the design of it, because why would they? Everything they need is there, and it's all Disney approved, and you love Disney, so why not just go spend your entire life here and make sure you empty out your piggy bank the entire way before you shed the mortal coil? They have like a proposed 55 and older only community as well. So to me, it really just seems like they're trying to build the one-stop shop for Disney adults to go to die. Like, spend the rest of their life, spend all of their money on Disney and Disney only, so that way it doesn't go elsewhere, so that way they can have it all. And it's just so weird. I think it's such a fucking weird idea. So I went over it a little more on stream last night. I'll show you a couple clips of that before hopping back in for a bit more analysis. Have you heard about the city Disney is building called Story Living? Talking about the Disney neighborhood? That's got to be the worst place on earth. This place would be absolutely miserable to live. Imagine being in a Disney-only community. Have their own police force. The HOA would go crazy. Smiles mandatory. If not, you get executed in the town square. I wonder if you're allowed to have Netflix there. Oh, no chance. That'd be a crime punishable by death in Disney Story Living or whatever. The housing's too expensive. No one's going to buy these. You don't know Disney adults. Disney adults will actually trample each other just for the chance of living in a Disney neighborhood.
Touched the hearts and minds of people around the world for nearly 100 years.
Okay, and stop sucking your own dick. Just show me the neighborhood.
By our world-class Disney cast. As Imagineers, story is at the heart of
I still think it's so cute they call themselves Imagineers.
Places to life to immerse you in the. This exciting new venture will enhance, extend, and strengthen the Disney brand by allowing us to bring the magic of Disney to places you may never have expected.
Surveillance. We enhance the Disney brand by spying on you. We own you. You live in our neighborhoods and you are literally our property.
Community is something truly special.
We're exploring
nightmarish is the word I'd use.
In the US for our Story Living by Disney here in the community of Rancho Mirage. Just
is this like WandaVision? Kind of.
And I'm excited to announce that our first Story Living by Disney community will be located in experienced home builders at each site who contribute their talents and expertise to each community.
But yeah, that's the gist of it. It's not really like Celebration. This is legitimately a Disney neighborhood. And I imagine those houses are going to come pre-built with some kind of surveillance or data harvesting program. Charles, I noticed at approximately 8:45 p.m. this evening you weren't smiling. Is something the matter? Do we need to have you re-educated? Be happy or else. It's not even so much about be happy. It's more consume forever. Consume or else. Do we need to send the Imagine police to have a talk with you? Oh, the police won't be imaginary. Those aren't Imagineers in uniform, I'll tell you what. Disney's absolutely going to have like a paramilitary force. They are going to lock this shit down. You can get in, but not out. No, you can get out too the second you can't afford to live there anymore. Or if you make the mistake of trying to download a competing streaming service. Contraband at the Disney neighborhoods is going to be like smuggling in a DVD of like Boss Baby or something. An animation that's not Disney. Disney wants to own human souls themselves. At least the Disney adults will all be in one place so we can avoid them. I mean, yeah, it'd be kind of like a quarantine zone for like the most brainwashed Disney adults, I suppose. And actually, I do wonder if they'd even be allowed access to the rest of the internet. I really imagine this Disney neighborhood being complete lock and key. Like, your days are designed for you. You're restricted access to a bunch of different things. Yeah, it'd probably just be like an intranet for the neighborhood. Because, I mean, if they give you unrestricted access to the internet, you could be leaving a negative review about the housing situation. You could be saying less than favorable things, and they can't have that. You should go there when built. Man, fuck that. That'd be going to like a Scientology church. That's scary. Let's go ahead and play around a little bit here, because I don't exactly know how this neighborhood's going to go, but knowing Disney, I think this could end up being like one of the most outrageously strict places on the planet. I really feel there's a non-zero chance that they will outright forbid anything that's not Disney or Disney adjacent. Like, they won't have direct competition. I wouldn't be surprised if you can't even Amazon Prime packages into your Disney neighborhood house. Like, they probably would just turn them away at the door or something. You can only order through Disney pre-approved services. I really think that that's not out of the realm of possibility, because it seems like they're going to really own this neighborhood. Everything is going to be Disney related. Like I said, the cast members thing really throws me for a wild loop, because that just seems like actual simulation cult shit to a certain degree, where you will be monitored. Like, it seems like it's going to be constant surveillance from the cast members on their community. I also do think there's a non-zero chance that there will be some expectations on their residents as part of like an HOA agreement where they'll attend Disney events or Disney hosted celebrations within the community and shit like that in order to get them active in the community or something, and they'll probably spin it as like, you gotta really embrace the magic. You're living in the Disney neighborhood, damn it, so come to all of our events. Why are you here if you don't want to be? You know, get over here, come to the events, in order to try and get them on the hook to start spending more money on Disney-related shit and continue the brainwashing. If you're already living in the Disney neighborhood, if you paid to be there, you're already pretty brainwashed, but this is like another level. This is a completely different level where you are just completely submerged in Disney and Disney only, cut off from the rest of the world. Also, worth noting real quick, Disney has tried something similar before with a place called Celebration, which is like, it's pretty similar to what they're pitching here with Story Living by Disney, but it completely failed. Celebration completely failed. It was a disaster for them, and I think they no longer have Celebration as like a Disney thing anymore. I'm not entirely sure, it's all kind of messy, but it was a failure on Disney's part to do this in the past. But they're trying again. They're saying, you know what? What about Second Breakfast? That was so good, I want to try it a second time. And they're going with Story Living this time. But they've broadened the scope, and they want to create all of these amenities for the neighborhood. And to me, it all just seems like control. Like, they just want to control all of your spending, then make sure it all goes back into Disney's pockets. This shit is scary. Also, I read something from Celebration back when it was still Disney's, where apparently the HOA was so fucking evil that they had some kind of clause where they could legally tell you that you have to get rid of your pets if they're deemed a nuisance or something. I only read a little bit about that from Google, so take that with a grain of salt. That could be all anecdotal and completely incorrect. But I wouldn't be surprised if Disney really did have something like that. And I wouldn't be surprised they have something like that in Story Living by Disney when they do build this. I really do think it'll probably be one of the most awful places to live, truly. Even as like a Disney adult, if you're a huge fan of Disney, I think living there would make you fucking hate Disney too. But yeah, anyway, I just want to talk about this a little bit. That's it. See ya.